The next speaker is presented in collaboration with Scenario Magazine, a non-profit and print magazine. Scenario Magazine is devoted to possible futures, trends, ideas, and visions that dominate the present and point the way forward. Scenario Magazine is proud to present the 2 selected speakers from the network, and the first one you'll meet now. The future belongs to anyone who dares imagine it. Our next speaker will take us into that future and show us the tools we have available, not only to dream, but to do. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Hvid in collaboration with Scenario Magazine.
At Singularity University, we have this standing joke that AI is really easy, AV is really hard. It always is an issue getting things to work. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to tell you a story about the future. I'm going to tell you a story about an exponentially better future. My name is Hvid. I run a small consultancy company called Disrupt. I'm the Danish ambassador from Singularity University. And what I see happening right now is that we're in the middle of a changing paradigms. We no longer live in an industrial paradigm, we're moving into an information paradigm. And this is something really, really big, and it's going to have an effect on all the things we do. I think Lucy just showed us some of that. But first of all, I want you to stop following the news, because they will only make you feel lousy. You'll read about wars, epidemics, poverty, religious wars, etc. And those are all real problems. But when you look at it, the world is actually getting better. And it's going really, really fast. So let me show you a few examples on that. For example, our life expectancy is growing really, really, it's getting really, really a lot better. So in the last 100 years, we gained 36 years. And I'm telling you, all of you that are here today, you all can expect to reach 120. No problem. Technology is doing that. The amount of people living in poverty is dropping at a rate never seen before. The number of poor people has never reached a level this low as it is today. If we look at energy, we always hear we should save energy. It's a scarce resource. Well, it's not. Energy is not a scarce resource. I mean, the sun gives as much energy on the earth in every 88 minutes as we spend in a year as humans. So it's not a scarce resource. It's just hard to get. But we're getting there. So if you look at the price for solar panels, if you look at the amount of investment going into solar energy, the amount of energy delivered from solar panels are doubling every 3 years, and we are only 7 doublings from reaching the amount of energy we use today. And all this is driven by technology, and mainly our ability to do computing. And this is that the drop of cost of doing computing is really the key to a lot of these changes that we see happening. Also, the internet access, people connected to the internet, is growing really, really fast. We are 3 billion people on the internet today, and in the next 5 years, 3 billion more is going to go online. Imagine what they can do. Imagine connecting their brains to the internet, and they'll be part of this global nervous system that we are building. And we're changing, this is the point, we're changing from a world of scarce resources to a world of abundancy. And there are no better example on that than the number of photos that we take. So in the old days, when we took a photograph, it cost us about, 50 cents or so. Now we have digital photos, we can take as many as we like, it doesn't matter. The marginal price of a photo is 0. And this is happening across the field. Also, the way we do business are changing. No longer do you need capital to create a success, you need talent, right? So the cost of creating a new company is dropping really, really fast. So everybody today can go out, be an entrepreneur, start out with a laptop in their garage, using Amazon Web Service to kick things off or scale really, really fast. So what we are offering you today is a new view of the world. So it's my belief that when you leave today, we've all been giving you the blue pill, right? You won't be able to go back. So let me explain to you what I see is happening. I'm seeing we're moving from a linear and local world to a global and exponential world. And the key to understanding this global and exponential world is really to understand the digital product, the information enabling of everything. We are information enabling everything these days, right? And what's really something about the digital product is the zero cost of copying. So when you do a digital product, once you've developed it, it can be copied as many times as you like. You don't need any raw materials, you don't need any production, and you don't need any shipping. So this is really a key to understanding the digital product. Also, it evolves exponentially. And that's easy to say, but it's really hard to really comprehend what is exponential growth. We think linear. We live in a linear world. So let me give you an example of exponential growth. Imagine yourself sitting here in this football stadium, top row, nice view, but somehow I managed to lock you to the chair. You're not able to move. And I intend to leave you there until the end of your days. You're going to sit there. So the first thing that'll end your days is lack of water, right? And how long does it take before you die from thirst, you know? A week, exactly. But I'm going to put a small tap right next to you, so you won't die of thirst. Then there's food starvation. How long can one live without food, you know? A month? Let's say a month. Okay. Well, the tap is dripping, and it's dripping with exponential speed. So the first minute, 1 little drop. The second minute, 2 drops. Third minute, 4 drops. Fourth minute, 8 drops. I think you got the picture now. It's doubling the number of drops every minute, right? You think you're going to drown or die of starvation? Exactly. How long will it take me to fill up this stadium? Aggressive. Aggressive. Anyone else? You want to top that? Did you read my book? The exact number is 44 minutes. So when something is exponential, it goes really fast. It goes surprisingly fast. If the stadium was twice the size, I just needed 45 minutes, right? So that's the first point. It goes fast. The second point is, when do you see the danger? When do you see the danger? Ten minutes before, that's 34 minutes. You'll have some small water on the playing field there. You're able to see it, yes. The first 30 minutes, you won't see anything. I used to say 42 minutes, but that's okay, right? So you only see the danger in the last minute. So we have to look a bit further. If our world is driven by exponential technologies, we have to look a bit further into the horizon to see the change coming. Oops. These guys didn't, right? You remember Kodak, right? Selling film for cameras. That was in 1988. They were 145,000 employees. That's a huge company, right? And only 24 years later, they went bankrupt due to digital photos, right? You can always imagine them looking at those digital photos when they came up saying, oh, that's not the quality we need. There's no chance that that's going to compete with us. They did a linear progression of digital photos. The same year, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. With 13 employees. 13. That's the difference between a digital company that scales and a physical company that needs to produce, ship, etc. Right? So this is really important. And this changes is not only in digital photography or the computers in our pockets, it's happening across the board. Let me show you some examples. So robots are really something, right? Robots are coming into our daily lives now. They're really moving fast. This is Google's self-driving car driving the streets of Palo Alto. And That's a really interesting technology, and it's going to change the way we do transport. I think transport is going to look more like Spotify or something. It's going to be like a service. You don't own a car when the car drives itself. There's no reason to own a car. You just access transportation when you need it, right? And drones are really cool. They have a bad reputation. Okay, I know the military kind of fucked that reputation up, but they can do really cool stuff. Look at these two drones throwing a stick to each other. If you had to do that as a human being, that would be really hard. And by the way, there are no teenagers controlling these drones behind those curtains. It's all automatically driven. And in so many ways, we as humans, we're playing gods now, right? We make the blind people see, the deaf people hear, and we can make the paralyzed people walk. So this is Amanda. She's paralyzed from a skiing accident. Oops, sorry. Went too fast. Here she is, getting off her wheelchair, wearing a robot. This is not a non-invasive robot called an exoskeleton that she's wearing. And it'll kind of not make her walk, but it walks with her so she can once again experience what it's like to stand up. So this is really, really amazing technologies coming along. The whole biotech field is really interesting, and I think, Lucy, you gave us some really beautiful examples that we as humans has been living off nature for 200,000 years. Then with the agricultural revolution, we learned to control nature. Now we're manipulating nature, and we can do really crazy stuff. We can make apples not go brown, or we can make cats glow. So we're playing with nature, and we can do amazing things by controlling nature this way. Also really scary things, but I'll leave them out for today. And computers are getting smaller, and at some point they go into our bloodstreams. This is an example of a nanotechnology of a small computer that goes into our bloodstreams and carry along oxygen. So a small artificial blood cell, red blood cell, that carries oxygen, and it'll hold 100 times more oxygen than your natural red blood cell. So imagine I was standing here and having a heart attack. I could just, finish my talk and then take a cab to the hospital. I could move on for an hour without my heart beating. Artificial intelligence is also coming online, and it's changing a lot of things. These are two examples from a competition fostered by X Prize. The first one is having the finals are going to be next year. It's about creating a device that will diagnose a group of patients better than a board of doctors, certified doctors. So soon your doctor is going to be an artificial intelligence, right? And the same goes for teaching. That's another competition just kicked off. Create a device that can teach people how to read and write. Will it change your schools? Probably not. Not the first years. But if you are placed in a place of the world where there are no teachers, this is indefinitely better than nothing, right? So these technologies is going to change a lot of things. Last one I brought is 3D printing. And 3D printing is really a revolution. So the price is dropping for these printers, and the materials are only getting stronger. And there's a lot of interesting thing about 3D printing. First of all, there is no waste, so you only use the materials that you print. And also, complexity is free. You all know that from your ink printers, right? They don't care if you print out what's a school essay or a great piece of work by Shakespeare. It's just ink on paper. The same goes for 3D printers. They don't care if they're printing a block or something really beautiful. So complexity is free. That's really interesting. I have a scaled-up film of a 3D printer printing like this wrench. And here's another thing that's really interesting. A wrench like this, it consists of 3 parts, right? You have the big part down here, then you have the slider going back and forth, and you have the small wheel, right? But when you're 3D printing stuff, you just do it in one part. No need to assemble. No need to assemble. So it'll change the whole way we produce. So these are a few examples of technologies that's coming online and really, really changing the way the world goes. And there are dangers of exponential technologies, for sure. We should be aware, and we should have our eyes open going into this world. but our world is also getting better. And there is so much to do here. We can create, with the technology, we can solve these major grand challenges. We can create clean energy, we can create clean water, and we can solve illiteracy, just to mention a few examples. So we can use this technology, we can create an app in the App Store and we can go get rich, but that's not really it, is it? Let's use it for something really important. So I urge you to change, to look at technology and use it for the better. So as we say at Singularity University, you want to become a billionaire? Go solve a problem for 1 billion people. And yes, I mean you. Because the politicians, they know nothing of this. They know nothing of this. And the big companies are really scared. They're really scared of being disrupted. They're really scared of ending up like Kodak. So they're not going to do anything either. So it really is up to you. So I urge you to go change the world using technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, for this amazing talk. So if I'm going to be 120, I'm going to drink a bit more wine today, that's for sure.